What's going on, guys? Nick here from the TCG Buds here today to show you a glimpse into my personal collection when it comes to the One Piece trading card game, as well as my knowledge and experience that I've gained over the past year of collecting in hopes of providing this information to people who are collecting but are unsure what to get, as well as people who are interested in joining what is honestly one of the best communities in trading card games. But first, attention all One Piece fans, the Buds will be running a giveaway of an illustration box featuring the beautiful Nami and Boa Hancock promo cards for one lucky subscriber on the road to 1,000. To enter, all you need to do is like, comment, and subscribe, as well as be a resident of the United States. Anyways, guys, that's it for now, so back to the video. Alright guys, getting right into it, I'm going to start with my sealed product collection, but first, I wanted to say shout out to Dom for the idea. You can actually watch his video that he posted about 2 or 3 months ago right here, showing off his collection. He had a ton of positive feedback on him showing off his collection, so it really inspired me to want to show off mine. So thank you, Dom, for the idea. And without any further ado, folks, let's get right into my One Piece collection. All right, guys, so I like to collect a variety of One Piece products, and what I mean by that is I like to collect some sealed products, some single products, some promo cards, and some very expensive exclusive cards as well. Just like as I said, I like having a little bit of variety in my collecting when it comes to One Piece especially. So for my sealed product, the first thing I'm going to show off right here is we have a box of OP06 Wings of the Captain, one of my favorite sets. When it comes to sealed product especially, I only like to collect the sets that I love and have meant a lot to me when it comes to the One Piece game in terms of my collecting and what I've been able to get done. So I actually have 3 boxes of OP06 that I have, and it's going to be interesting what happens to the sealed product market when it comes to One Piece in the future. I only say that because with how mappable cases are, I wonder if loose boxes are going to have the cost rising in price over time that Pokemon boxes have. For example, like a base set Pokemon box has gone up astronomically, and you don't have to worry about mapping it. So I wonder with potential having dead boxes, how that's going to work with One Piece. But anyways, we'll see. I'm not really worried about that too much right now. Again, this is more so for my personal collection. Next up, I have 3 boxes of OP09, my personal favorite set in One Piece, which you're about to see the journey I'm going to be embarking on when it comes to that set in a few minutes. But second to last here, we have a white bottom box. So for those of you who don't know, for OP01 Romance Dawn, and there's 2 versions of this. You have the white bottom box, which is essentially like having a base set 2 or base set unlimited for Pokemon. It's not the original first edition print run, but it's still a great box to have, and I had to have in my collection. But when it comes to the holy grail of sealed One Piece products, what you have right here is in the acrylic case. Hopefully I can show it off well. It is the OP01 blue bottom. I was able to pick up this bad boy recently, actually. Again, really inspired from Dom to be able to get this one. Did cost me a pretty penny, but again, when it comes to collecting One Piece, I really like to have a little bit of everything in my collection just because that's what I personally enjoy. So, very big pickup. All right, folks, we're going to move on to some raw singles I have now. And a quick warning on these. A lot of these I'm going to be sending to PSA to get graded soon. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a raw card collection because they're going to be going to PSA very soon. So I do indeed collect a little bit of Japanese. So during the lull period after OP09, there was not very much new product coming up for One Piece, and I was very much so getting kind of bored with the sets that had been up for 3 months. So I started dabbling a little bit in EBO2 and Japanese OP11, and those sets are fantastic. So we have the Nami here, the Zeus, excuse me, with the Nami. It's a beautiful card. I love that card. Moving on, we have the Vivi, one of my personal favorite cards in this set. It's just beautiful. I think it's in OP11, but don't call me. I'm saying no, actually EBO2, but it's a beautiful card. Can't wait to see that in English. After that, I am a little bit of a Perona collector, so I've been trying to collect Prona. She's one of my favorite characters in the entire show. When it comes to certain characters to be collecting, you're going to notice a little bit of a waifu collection, which I'll explain that at some point. But I think the waifus in general are just really safe when it comes to purchasing cards for, and also enjoy the characters. So, again, guys, collecting is all about enjoying collect what you enjoy, first and foremost. So just the Prona alt art from OP09, and then we have the alt art Prona leader as well. After that, we have a regionals finalist, Tony Chopper. And you're probably wondering, where the hell did this come from? Well, I think that if Pokemon has taught me anything, it's that the promo cards you get from regionals and from playing in the tournaments, just so valuable over time. And again, I just think that's really cool having cards like this. I would love to be able to have a serialized card over time. Very unlikely, considering I think the World Championship serialized card was rumored to be going for around $2 million. But if I can get that, great. I think it's really cool having cards from the actual tournaments in my own collection. I think it's, again, provides a good variety as well as cool, and I love Chopper as a character. So after that, we have the One Piece Day Fest promo cards from 2025. It's this year. I was able to pick up this, the Zoro, as well as the Uta Don. And my goal is to get these all graded sequentially. And you're probably wondering, Nick, why would you get a Don card sequentially? And the main reason why is I enjoy having promo cards that are all from a set or from a certain product line graded sequentially, because I just think it's cool. Sequential grading to me, I think, is really cool, and something that is kind of underutilized in One Piece, in that, especially for the sets like Awakening of the New Era, OP05, and OP09, all those mangas and all those crazy hits, getting those sequential grading from PSA, so cool to me. But for these guys, I would like to tell you a story on this. I actually was able to pick them up recently off someone who went to One Piece Fest, because of course that's where you could get it from, and I just want to emphasize how cool the One Piece community is, in that negotiating with them is so much better than Pokemon. When it comes to pricing for One Piece, a lot of people understand the flat baseline that you pay 85% for the card. So if you're ever looking into negotiating for some cards, 85% is the firm handshake amount where people can all come to terms very easily and accept that 85% TCG player, we're going to have a deal. So never be afraid to shoot 85% TCG. Typically, most people, when they post for One Piece cards for sale, they'll offer 85% TCG. Again, this is typically people in the community, not vendors. Vendors have their own margins to make, so on and so forth, but that's been my own experience. So now we're moving on to the illustration cards, and we're going to have a couple good ones here. So we're going to have the Nami, the Boa illustration card from, again, the EX, or the illustration boxes. We have the Yamato, as well as the Black Maria from their illustration box. And then it's going to go into some heat, folks. We have the Rob Lucci and the Jewelry Bonnie from the EX limited edition boxes, which were from One Piece Fest. Now, you're probably wondering how I was able to get them. I did not buy them on secondary market. So for those of you who might have heard in our stream, Dom and I, we went to the grand opening of the One Piece store in San Diego, waited in line for a combined, I think it was around 5 or 6 hours. We're not able to get any PRBO1, but we were able to get the EX boxes, which is something we really wanted to get. And again, my goal is to get all these cards graded sequentially with the illustration cards. All right, moving on from there, we have the PSA Boa card that just came out. So for those of you who don't know, One Piece card game actually has a partnership with PSA where they'll release a limited edition promo card once a year. The first one was a Luffy, which we'll get to soon. This year was the Boa Hancock with the other Emperors of the Sea at Marineford. I think it's a super cool card. This card price has been varying recently, but if the Luffy from last year has any trajectory or any prediction as to where you can see this card going, only up over time, because again, it's a limited release promo card, which if you're noticing a trend here, I also love limited release cards. I think that now more than ever is the perfect opportunity to be able to get some of these cards for an affordable price. So I do my best to do what I can when it comes to acquiring those. So we have the Boa Hancock there. Next, we're moving on to some more promo cards. This is going to be from the ST21 deck box. These are some that I was able to pick up locally from some people I know, as well from some I ripped from my own deck box. So we have the Jinbei, the Usopp, the Tony Chopper, the Nami, and of course, this is actually a card I picked up last night, the Zoro from the ST21 deck box. Again, my game plan with that is I really just want to get all the Straw Hats. There's about 20 different promo cards for that, but my main goal is to get the Straw Hats. Moving on to some more high-valued raw cards that I have currently. Again, game plan is to get these graded. Another card I picked up recently. This is the PRB 01 Zoro manga. This comes in the God Pack from PRB 01. And you're probably wondering, how can you tell the difference between the original manga from OP06 and the one from PRB 01? Unfortunately, the only way you can really tell is through the tint color. So the tint color is a little bit different from the OP06 one, which has led to some confusion. So if you're ever looking to pick up the Zoro manga from OP06, make sure that you verify the tint coloring if you're going to get a raw card. After that, another card I just picked up recently. We have the Buggy from OP09. And now I have a little bit of story time to tell you guys when it comes to OP09. OP09, to me, is the greatest card set that has ever been created. And I'm not saying that to over-exaggerate. That, when I was looking at that card set 2 months before it came out, and you saw the card pricing, that in conjunction with it being based off of arguably the greatest anime of all time, as well as based off of the 4 new Yonko of the sea, like, that is such a cool concept to me, something the show is just getting into. And I thought that was super, super cool of a concept. And I don't think there's any coincidence why the card pricing has been going up. Not only that, box pricing for OP09 has been skyrocketing to another universe over the last month. I think it's reaching all-time highs right now, 180 a box. But I created this crazy idea of where I want to get all of the alt-art leaders, all of the SPs, all of the wanted cards, as well as all of the mangas, including the Gold D. Roger, graded sequentially for my personal collection. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually much closer than I ever thought I would get. It's really something that I've been aspiring to do ever since OP09 again got announced. I thought it'd be a super cool idea for my personal collection, and I would never get rid of it. I think it would be kind of like a 101 idea of having all the best hits in the set, in my opinion, the best set in the TCG, and the best set in trading cards overall that I've ever seen. It'd be super cool to see that get graded sequentially, all PSA 10. So follow me along that journey, folks. We're getting close. We're getting close. We're only off of one card. I'm sure you can probably guess what that is, and we'll get to that soon. So we have the Buggy manga. We have the Shanks manga from OP09. Wanted Shanks. Wanted Luffy. I actually pulled this one myself. So hyped that when that happened. Wanted Blackbeard. Wanted Buggy. Alt-Art Leader Teach. Alt-Art Leader Luffy. Alt-Art Leader Shanks. Alt-Art Leader Buggy. And of course, into the SPs. The SP Dragon. The beautiful SP Nami. My god, this card is just going up. The SP Boa. The SP Zoro Juro. Into the Lucci SP. And lastly, the Rosinante SP. Now, you're probably wondering, is that all you've gotten in terms of, is that as far as you've gone when it comes to your OP09 acquisitions? And I have actually gotten a little bit further. And you're probably going to think I'm a psychopath with what I'm going to say I'm going to do, but I have the Teach already graded as a PSA 10, as well as the Luffy manga PSA 10 as well. And what my game plan is with these two cards is to get them cracked and added into my submission to get them graded sequentially. Again, you're probably wondering, why would you ever do that? You probably paid way more money for the slabs graded than you would the cards raw. And the reality is, I just got some fantastic deals on those two cards, and it just made sense to me. Finding raw versions of those cards locally is really hard, unless you're buying from, you have to buy from eBay, or unless you're at a card show. So I was able to get some really good deals on those two cards, and my game plan, again, is crack them, get them regraded, get it done sequentially. Which brings me on to the rest of my graded collection. We have the Zoro Alt-Art SEC from OP06, the Gear 5 Luffy Alt-Art card from OP05, as well as the red Sanji alt art leader from PRB01. When it comes to collecting overall, I really think the future of One Piece from a collector's perspective it's going to be centered on SPs, mangas, and promo cards. And the only reason why I say that is I feel like Bandai has kind of been leading the collectors in a certain direction with overall hit rates. And one major issue that Dom and I have actually discussed ad nauseum is the hit rates in One Piece, and whether or not that's a good thing or bad thing for the game. The thing is, for SPs, when you're dealing with case hits and you only get 2 of them, the rarity of those cards is just way higher than everything else. It's a much safer bet that that's trying to appeal to the collectors, as well as mangas, given the unknown hit rate. I've heard people say 1 to 3 1 in every 3 cases. Different sets might have different hit rates on the mangas. So for me, my targeted focus again is in the future going to be more centered on SPs, mangas, and promo cards. So if you're going to see a consistency with that on all my stuff, it's going to be centered towards that. And hopefully that information can be helpful to you guys in determining what you want to collect. Moving right along. Speaking of promo cards, we have the Luffy promo card from PSA that was released last year. We got that guy in a PSA 10. Beautiful card. Absolutely love that. Following that up, we have the Nami from OP05. Then we have the SP Nami, of course. PSA 10 as well. Nami, one of my favorite characters in One Piece. And again, all of her cards I think are fantastic. This one being my favorite Nami card, which is of the SPs at least. This being the OP07 SP Nami, a beautiful card. Her and Wano. I love the background art in this card. Again, One Piece always just has fantastic art. I think this thing is so beautiful. So beautiful. One of my favorite in my collection. After that, we have one of, if not my favorite, Boa Hancock card. We have the Boa Hancock from, I think it's Kingdom of Intrigue is OP04. Just such a beautiful card in a PSA 10. I mean, that art on Boa it's fantastic. It's just genuinely, I think it actually is better than the manga. I think the art in this situation surpasses the manga for the SP, and that card has been going up a lot over time. A lot. All right. Speaking of Boa and speaking of manga, we have the Boa Hancock manga from OP07 PSA 10. Again, another beautiful card. I'm a Boa, Nami, Zoro, and Luffy collector, so I had to make sure that I had that one in the collection. Moving on from that, only a couple cards left here, guys. We have the Manga Nami from PRB01. Without a doubt, the most special card in my entire collection. The only manga I have ever pulled. Dom and I combined have opened probably between 10 to 12 cases of One Piece. This is the only one I've ever personally pulled, and of course, it came from a loose box that we just bought from a local game store. I'll never forget when I first pulled this card, I just spit all over it from yelling, and I was so afraid that I damaged it and that it wasn't going to come back as a 10. And so every time I see this card, it just always brings a smile to my face because I think back on that and how nervous I was. And I remember when I got the call that I got a 10 back after I got it graded through Lucky Vault. It was an out-of-body experience. I was jumping up and down in the store. Jumping up and down. And that takes us to my number one card in my collection, my Grail. The card that is the coolest thing I have ever seen in any card game. It is the PSA 10 Oda signature from OP05. This card is magnificent. I think conceptually it is one of the coolest ideas ever to have the signature of Oda, the creator of arguably one of the greatest stories in modern times, on this Luffy card, and you just see it there beautifully in gold. I view this card as being a tribute card to Oda, and when I think of this card, I think of what One Piece has meant to me, and not only that, but like my friendships with Dom and with Austin, who's JKA, and the journey we've been on together. So this card has a lot of sentimental value to me. I was so lucky in how I acquired it. I got it kind of sniped through an eBay auction, and I don't think I'll ever be able to get that lucky again. I was really able to get a crazy price on it. And there's some times in life where I just think things are meant to be. And this was one of those times. Genuinely was one of those times. But very special card for me. I'll never get rid of this card. This is my absolute grail. There's no card that surpasses it for me. This is number one for me. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for now. Thank you so much for looking at my One Piece collection. Again, hopefully I was able to give you guys some insight and experience that's going to help you guys with your collecting in the future. And if you're curious about getting into the One Piece trading card game, you're unsure, you don't know, give it a try. The community is fantastic. Again, the player base are so understanding when it comes to the collectors, really, at least at my local area, of understanding the value in it for collectors, as well as the compatibility for it competitively. So they're always looking to have new people join the community, whether it's a player or a collector. My local card shop is doing a great job acting as a liaison to guide people, and I'm hoping to be able to do that a little bit for people in our community, or people who are unsure about One Piece, or not sure what to collect, or not sure how, you know, if it has any viability for the long term. I mean, I think big picture, One Piece is an IP that has been around for nearly 30 years. And sure, while the story from Oda might end within the next 5 years, the impact that this game has had on the last 3 generations, I think, will live on forever. So anyways, guys, that's it. This has been Nick from TCG Buds, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.